name is Nicole King. I'm from Millersville, Georgia, but I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I am one of the founders and CEO of Atlanta Women of Wealth, and I just want to tell you a little bit about what Atlanta Women of Wealth and how we started this. You know, when we started doing this, we really just started doing this as like a table of 20, maybe 10 people or more. And it was so many people that wanted to participate in what we had, so it let us know that we had a niche for this. This is something that I do a lot of time. I host a lot of events with my friend Nene that's on the panel today. We're Tea Party girls, so we host tea parties. Host a lot of things, and I actually red carpet correspondent, and I interview a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, anyone that has a brand. We want to promote that. I'm all for girl power, sisterhood, and entrepreneurship. So for me, this is not just looking pretty in the white. I wanted to bring some influential people that sit on the board that can actually, or sit on our panel that can actually tell you how to jumpstart your life, your business, your brand, your purpose. We all have a purpose in life, and sometimes things have to fall apart for you to realize what it is. And I'm that person. So I wanted to share my experience with my friends, with my girls, and be able to kind of birth a new purpose. When we did this, we could not do this without adding my friend, my dear, dear friend, Ms. Nell Tricia Wilkins. Ms. Nell Tricia Wilkins I met her through our financial education service, which is FES, and also through, works in finance as well. So Ms. Nell is an empowering woman. She has so many gifts and talents, and we just wanted to bring a colorful panel and bring a colorful set of women on this today to actually give you and inspire you and expose you to some greatness. God is so good, and He has so much in store for us. And I'm so big on the power of connections and meeting people. A lot of times, a lot of these people that are sitting right beside you have your dream in their hand, and if you don't say and connect and to actually talk, you gonna know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest. I came to Atlanta from Millersville, didn't know anybody. Small town country girl. And I was humble enough, and I was so hungry to just for my spirit to be fed, to find my purpose. And in that, the reason why I'm saying that is because as I meet people and I tell them who I am, what I want to do, they say, oh, well, you need to know such and such and such and such and such and such. And it birthed all of this. So please connect. Tell somebody in here, pass your card. If you don't have a card, write your name down, put your number on something, connect with 3 or 4 people that you don't know. Get to know somebody, the vendors that's in the back, get to know somebody, because you just don't know. Like, again, I'm standing here today because of somebody that wanted to pull me along. So I do believe in reaching back and pulling someone with me up into success. So Ms. Nell, I want you to come up, introduce yourself, and tell them who you are, and we're going to get started.
Good afternoon. She said Nell Tricia, and I said, you're not from Manchester. I'm from Manchester, Georgia, and where I'm from, when people call you a girly name back home, they are from your hometown. So if I walk down the street and someone said, Nell Tricia, I say Manchester. But I've shared with her that I am from Manchester, Georgia, and they call me Nell Tricia. If we feel a little in the spirit today, that's because we are, because there's a lot of great spirits in this room, amen? So if I say amen, just know that I've been preaching for 24 years, charging to my head and not my heart. But we are so thankful to be here today. I love the opportunity to connect women and to each other in a positive way. I've always been told that we're only one relationship away from our destiny. And I see a lot of destiny in this room. What about you? So I'm thankful to be here. We're going to have a great time. We have some great things in store for you. We have all of these powerful women that come to be empowered and to empower. And we have a few men by invitation only. So let's give the brothers in the room a hand. We're thankful that they're here. Also, we want to we're thankful for Nicole's mother, the parents of these young ladies. Thank God for them because they've been with them all the way. For the staff that's here, I almost said the help me Lord. But the staff that's here, that's serving and helping today, we're thankful for them. But more than anything, we thank God for these women, 3 women that had a vision. You know, it's one thing to have a dream, but sometime or another we have to wake up, right? And so these women have awakened, so let's really applaud them. Come on. This is better than what we're doing. I'm going to get more. awesome job. But as I said, for the last 24 years, I've been serving in a lot of ways, and had an opportunity to serve as chaplain to this team of Letitia and Nicole, working with FES, and Thad and Calvin, Vanessa, a lot of those that may not be here today. So it's a blessing to be here today to co-host with Networking with Nikki. I am a financial representative with Transamerica Insurance, and I also am a representative with Financial Educational Services. And my partner in crime is here, so you'll hear from her a little later. So y'all feeling good?
Yes.
Y'all ready to hear some empowering information?
Yes.
Okay, let's put our hands together for Ms. D. Clemens.
I'm just going to bring this notebook up here just so that I can say a few things, but I just want to make sure that we're on the same page today. How many of you all are glad you woke up this morning? I just want to tell you guys a little bit about my story, and I'm going to be very, very quick because I know time is of the essence here today. But I was born and raised in Atlanta. I'm a native of Georgia, grew up in DeKalb County, got married at a very young age, and stayed with my husband for 18 years. My husband became a pastor of a church. I had 7 daycare centers, was making a whole lot of money, lived on 40 acres of land in Fayette County, and one day I got a divorce. I had a 10-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old daughter, and I went from a $700,000 home on 40 acres of land to a studio apartment with 3 blow-up mattresses, my 2 girls, and a dog. And people would look and they said, you know, you're not going to be able to have the lifestyle you used to have. Your children are not going to be able to do the things they used to do. You got to come out of the private school. I had graduated from Spelman. I knew that when I left school, I wanted to go to law school, but I met this man that told me that he was a business owner. He was very well established. And said that he wanted to teach me how to do something different, which was to go into my own business. Well, I thank God for that relationship, because in everything that the devil tries to do, God has always got a different plan. And so I learned how to create businesses through this marriage. Although there was some bad parts to it, there was some good things that came out, like my 2 lovely daughters, who are now, one has got a full ride to Mercer University, and one just graduated from Clark Atlanta University. I became a single mom. I had lived a life as a child, as a child of a single parent, but never thought in a million years that I would have to raise my girls alone. And I struggled with that studio apartment, the 3 blow-up mattresses, and the dog, and then the cars that I had began to disappear out of the yard. The lights I couldn't pay anymore. And I went from up to down. But somebody told me success, and my complaint was this. I built these daycare centers. I wrote these grants. Everything that we have was because of me, and everything is gone. And this person that I met said, well, Demetrius, short for D, long for D, if you did it one time, you ought to be able to do it again, because success is not when you do it one time. That could be luck. Right. But when you can do it over and over again, that's when you can say you've been successful. So I stand here today to say I have been a successful businesswoman. I've owned cattle farms. I've owned restaurants, child care centers, wrote grants for the federal government, and now I am running for county commissioner of Henry County. When I moved to Henry County in 2008, there was nothing for the youth to do. I started a girls club here. It's Broadway Performing Arts. It's on Eagles Landing Parkway. I serve 150 young girls, but just to motivate them that if they ever get in that situation that Dee was in, if you're down, there's no way to go but up. So I tell my girls, and this is what I want to leave with you guys today, who is your future self? Who is your future self? I know who I was when I was married. I knew what I wanted to be. But if you don't plan for that future self, you're going to be in trouble. So I want to keep that in mind. Your future self, I want you to think about that. And then why do you want that future self to be you? And what are you going to do to get there? I recently remarried. I am a newlywed. Those 8 years that I was single and struggling and trying to get back on my feet, I bought a home, my first home. I bought my own car. I opened up another daycare center, 2 more daycare centers, and the performing arts studio. And I did it with 0. I stepped out on faith. I called up a church and I said, this is, used to be First Lady, such and such, I won't call that name. And I need a daycare center. You know I'm successful with it. You know God has blessed me to work with women and children. And if you just give me your building, because she was losing her building, I will work that building and give you all the money until I paid you what you want. And then after I paid you, it will become my center. See, people don't want to do nothing for free no more, y'all. But you got to give something to get something. And I found that when I was at Spelman, I was over the community service organization. And President Bush appointed me to the White House Board of the Points of Light Foundation. So I worked at the White House as well. But I found out that Marion Wright Edelman said that you got to lift, and I tell Nikki Nicole this, as you climb. So if you're not helping somebody else as you go up the ladder, then don't expect to go up the ladder. Just expect those crowds to be pulling you back down. So I'm saying all this to say to you, you got to worry about your future self. You want to know why you're wanting to be that future self and what are you going to do to get there for that future self. So I want you guys to write down, this is your homework. That's the teacher of me. I used to teach middle school. City of Decatur, Renfro Middle School. But I want you to write down, who is the future self? What are you going to do to get there and why do you want to be there? And every day you got to work your plan. And stop bouncing all over the place. When we got here, we put with GPS and we have a starting point and an ending point. So when you decide about that future self, write down where you're going to start, where you are now, what is it going to take to get there, and you got to be accountable to yourself first. And now I'm holding you accountable. You're going to follow me at dfordistrict2.com. dfordistrict2@yahoo.com is my email address. My phone number, I'm going to even give you that, 404-925-1750. I'm actually in class for my life coaching certification because I know that God has put something in me to help the next person. And I am where I am because of those young children helping somebody else. Let me put on my glasses so I don't get off track. I know you got to speak to them. I ain't gonna take it. Okay, so I started a foundation. It's called She Steams. It's She Steams Incorporated. I think that's what Nikki Nicole has on my platform. Not a daycare, not the dance studio, because I got so much stuff going on. But believe this, when I start something, I get it prosperous, and then I move on to something else. I don't bounce all over the place. So She Steams is my foundation. She Steams is an empowerment organization for women. I have some of the board members here from She Steams with me, and what I'm doing is I'm building a micro-lending program to help women own businesses. I'm also working with Google to try to get a grant so that we can finance entrepreneurs that want to start their businesses in science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and service. So if you're providing services, there is number empowers. I went to so many women organizations and said, let me partner with you, because if we pull together and not divide, we will be so much more powerful.
Please say that.
And so whatever they're doing, I try not to duplicate. Well, they ain't trying to find you money. Now there's financial thing. I'm talking about micro lending, where it's just a loan and you give it back. So She Steams has that. We also have a relationship where we're building positive relationships between mothers and daughters. If you're not an example for your daughters, and I thank God, and I told you about my 2 girls, but believe me, those 8 years, no man came in and out of my house. I wouldn't date nobody. Let me tell you, I am their role model. You don't need to go get a mentor for your child. You need to be the mentor for your child. So we have a relationship where we're encouraging positive relationships between mothers and daughters. And also, if you're already a business owner, we would like to give you opportunities to network with one another, just like these type of events. They're doing it, so all we have to do is to plug in and say, this is the networking event. As well as building your customer base and me coaching you through, okay, where are you? Where are you trying to go? And holding you accountable. She Steams is about power and about empowering women and young girls. I'm Dee Clemens. Thank you.
That was powerful. Powerful. Come on, let's give her another hand. Even though that was powerful, it becomes, it equates to nothing if we don't do anything with it. I I know there are some people in this room that been through what she's gone through, maybe not the same multitude, but magnitude, but you've been through some things. And so some of us in here are divorcees, right? Yes. But there's life after divorce, right? And we are still empowered women. And the beautiful thing about it is we're not angry women. Life happens. Right? Life happens. And I'm one of those, 28 years, married to clergy too, and we all play a part in what we are. But we're thankful that life keeps moving. We just keep moving.
Ma'am, one thing is something about my campaign. I just want to say real quick. I'm running for a county commissioner here in Henry County. I'm in District 2, and I'm running for the District 2 seat. How many of you guys live in Henry County? Raise your hand. So if you come down 75, and you get off your exit and you go home to the right, you're in District 2. There's so much that's happening with that campaign that they've never had an African-American female in the seat. They've never had a Democrat in the seat. And usually what they do with that seat is the person who sits in the seat leaves early, and then they decide who's going to sit in their seat, so you never get to vote. Well, this year I threw my name in the hat to run for this position, and it has been such a powerful movement with the people who have gotten behind me that the city commissioner decided Tuesday this week he's going to step down and try to put someone in the seat to keep Dee from getting the seat. But no weapon formed against me. And what God has for me is for me. So I need you guys, if you live in Henry County, please request me on Facebook, Dee Clemens, share my post, vote for Dee Clemens. You will see what I stand for, what I do, and what I'm about. You guys know my story. A lot of people don't know my story, but y'all my sisters now. Y'all know my story. Straight from the east side of Decatur, but you know my story. I live in LA. My daughter's the first black girl from the state of Georgia to ever go to Broadway in The Lion King. Okay, so I don't have to go through all of that. All I want you to know is who I am and what I'm about, and that's about helping others. I want to be the first African American commissioner of Henry County because you live here and we want to grow with respect. 404-925-1750. Facebook, Dee Clemens. Elect Dee Clemens. Dee Clemens. Follow me. You can message me and get anything you need from me.
Okay. Possible. Next, I recognize when I said life happens, that's our slogan at Transamerica. We call ourselves tomorrow makers because life does happen. Our next person is my coworker. Actually, she's my director at Transamerica, and her name is Maggie Workroom. So she's going to come and just share a little bit with you about retirement, because a lot of us have 401ks and they're just sitting there, and a lot of us have our monies in bank accounts and it's just sitting there doing a little bit of nothing. So Maggie's going to share some information with you. She'll have an opportunity to speak with her more in a breakout session. But let us give Maggie a warm applause.
Hi everyone. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I can't hear myself. Okay, well thank you all for having me here today. Thank you, Nell, and everyone on the panel, and Nikki for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to come join you all this lovely Saturday afternoon. I'm originally from Ethiopia, so that's why you hear that accent. If you're having a little trouble understanding me, just raise your hands. I'll say it the same way again. I really appreciated Dee Clemens, what she just came up here and shared with us. That's amazing. If I was to live in Henry County, I would absolutely be voting for her. And I will definitely be touching on something that is in the back of our minds. Everyone here, sometimes we think about it more, sometimes not so much. Dee Clemens actually touched on it. What do you want for your future self? And that's, we all at some point will want to retire. So I'm going to have my notes here, so I'll come to the front a little bit here. So China, okay, will soon be the largest English-speaking country in the world. Think about that. 28% of the population in India that have the highest IQ is larger than North America combined. And according to the U.S. Department of Education, the top 10 jobs that are highly demanded today did not even exist in 2004. If Facebook were a country, it would be the third largest, behind China and India. this have to do with retirement? What does all this have to do with your future? I'm glad you asked. Everything. It teaches us that there's only one thing that is constant in life, and that's change. Change happens all the time. A young couple meet, right? They fall in love, they get married. Change. A year later, maybe they welcome a bundle of joy into their lives. Change. The child goes off to college, and now they're on their own. Change. Before they know it, they're at a crossroads. And they're thinking, okay, what are we going to do for retirement? If they're lucky, they have planned ahead and they have stashed enough to secure their lifestyle for the next 2 or 3 decades, or maybe more. But if they're like most Americans, they have less than 100,000 saved up. And is that going to carry them till the end of their lives? Probably not. And so that is a real issue here, and we definitely at Transmetro try to bring that awareness to everyone here to make sure that they're always prepared. So today what I want to do is go over a structured plan, what you want to do to plan for your retirement. 7 steps. Step number 1 is have a plan. As simple as that. You all know the saying, if you fail to plan, you're simply plan to fail. Thank you for helping me there. So the average American spends more time planning their weekend getaway, right? The weekend getaways and your vacations, yearly vacations. I certainly do. Yeah. And we just have to make sure that we also give some time to planning our future. What do you want for your future self? So think about a 3-legged stool. Okay, so one leg represents, this is the traditional retirement plan, right? One leg represents pension plan, where if you were to work for a company that is basically your retirement plan. They have pensions for you, and they will, you're depending on the company to fund your retirement. This was back in the days, right? Our parents, our great-parents, great-grandparents, if they work for a company or government, government institutions. The second leg is Social Security, which is America's #1 retirement plan. And the third one is your own nest egg, what you put together for yourself. So say someone comes behind you and chops off one of the legs. You're trying to keep balance, right? You're still maintaining. And then another one comes and chops off the other leg. Now you suddenly find yourself on the floor. What are you going to do? A lot of the times, retirees today are finding themselves in this situation. What are they going to do for their, next phase in their life? So, step 1, make sure you have a plan. Step 2 is understand your Social Security benefits. Yes, it's not as much as it used to be, but it is still there, okay? And it is, again, America's #1 retirement plan. It may not be sufficient, but you do have to understand how you can use it. Assuming a $1,000, this is just, for example sake, assuming $1,000 monthly benefit with the Social Security, and most people make the mistake of taking it at age 62 when they're able to start taking it. And unfortunately, if they could wait a little longer, that money would have doubled, right? So at 62, they would get 75 cents on the dollar, whereas if they had waited until age 70, they would get it $1.32 on the dollar. So $7.50 versus $1,320, almost double that amount. That's a huge difference when it's a lifetime guarantee income. So you want to make sure that you plan ahead and you understand your insurance, your Social Security benefits. And number 1, your own benefit, what your spousal benefit is going to be, and the survivor benefit. Also, I wanted to mention, you actually can collect on your ex. If you were married before and divorced, you would have had to at least be married 10 years, right? And the ex does not have to be notified or file. You can actually just file and be able to get some of that Social Security. Some people just don't know that, or they are not taught that. So if you're divorced and at least you were married 10 years, you can actually get Social Security benefits once you're 62. Step 3, you want to consider a hybrid retirement. And I think most people do this anyway. One, because they don't have a choice, they want to work as well as half and half retirement. So they're retired from their main careers, and now they're moved on to something else, maybe something that interests them, consulting, or started their own business. Half and half retirement, it keeps you active, it keeps you engaged in the community, and you're not just running through your savings. And someone actually texted me this not too long ago, and this is step 4. Protect your savings from inflation. This actually was interesting. In 1970, a new home would cost $23,000. Okay? The average American income, $9,400. New car, $3,400. Milk, 62 cents per gallon. Gas was 36 cents per gallon. And I can go on and on. Movie tickets, $1.55. Today I think we feel like $20 per person. But so this is inflation, guys. This is inflation. This is what inflation does. So you want to make sure whatever plan that you have is protected for inflation. Your savings are protected against inflation. You want to also make sure that you have guaranteed retirement income. What are guaranteed retirement income? There are 3 kinds: annuities, Social Security, and pension. Pension through the company or Social Security is a form of pension as well. And annuity is basically a contract for a guaranteed income through insurance companies. That's what annuity is. So you want to make sure that you have certain things in place where when you're ready to go on to the next phase of your life, you have that continued stream of income. There are 2 things that your success in retirement depend on. Number 1 is how much guaranteed lifetime income that you have secured. Number 2 is how many. There are some retirement risks. There are some retirement risks, and how successful are you making sure that they don't affect your retirement? And there's a few retirement risks, but I'm just going to mention one of them here, and that's because it's the biggest one, and it's longevity. People are living longer. Even though it's a blessing, right, to live long, and we love to have our grandparents, great-grandparents, but it's also a problem because you may run out of funds. So how can you make sure that you don't ever run out of funds? So that's, you want to make sure that you take care of that. Step 6 is you want to plan for a long-term medical cost. One of the top reasons people go bankrupt is, they can't afford to pay their medical bills. And as a result, they have to file bankruptcy. It's a real problem. Healthcare is expensive, right? And so you want to make sure that you plan for long-term medical costs. So in old age, it's just going to get worse. So you want to look at long-term care plans and whatnot. So there are 3 phases in retirement, and I like to call them, actually I stole this saying, go, slow go, and no go. So once you decide you're going to retire, in the first phase, the early phase, is going to be your go-go years. This is when you're out there exploring, traveling, and you're excited, you buy a boat, maybe you go join a country club and golf or whatnot. So you're just excited. Your mid-retirement time is your slow-go years, where you're probably going to stick around the house, stay with family and friends, and be around the grandkids maybe, right? The no-go years, these are the last stage of the retirement, is when more than likely you're going to need the assistance of someone else to take care of you. So these are real things that will happen that you just have to put in front of you and plan ahead. What do you want for your future self? Do you want the same comfort of living that you have today and in retirement? So you want to keep that in mind. And last but not least, you want to use your home equity wisely. Most of the time, a lot of people believe, and it is at some point, that their greatest asset is their home, right? And sometimes, and so they want to pay it off. That may not be a good choice for everyone, it might be for some. So you want to make sure that you assess that correctly and make sure that what works for you, you understand and you make it work for you. And then there's the happy factor. So there was a survey done, and I'm sure some of you may have read about this in the news and in the magazines and whatnot. Study shows that among retirees with similar, I'm almost done, sorry, it looks like time is up. But I just wanted to say that, after the study that they've done, what they've noticed is that people that have guaranteed lifetime income is they're the happiest because they know that they have something that's continuing to come and they're completely comfortable with that. So you just want to make sure you're 7 steps, and I know time is up. I had a couple more things to go over, but you can find me after, in the breakout session, and we can definitely go over that. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Right, so Maggie hit on a lot of points, and she has a lot more information to share during the breakout session. And with everything that she's sharing, now next we're going to keep moving straight through because we have a deadline and we have, time limits. But as we move on with everything that's happening and everything that's going on, we're talking about interest rate and trying to buy a house. And I was telling Maggie, I said, it's amazing. Someone sent me a text that said, we have insurance on our telephones. How many have insurance on our telephone? Now, I'm not going to ask the question, how many have insurance on everybody in the family? Put your hand down. Oh, way to go, sister. That's it. Because that's something we really need to think about. Because when I became an agent, I went to everybody in my household. I know there's a certain amount of people that within family, but everyone in my family. So sometimes they can't afford to do it. This is not just insurance, it's annuities, it's your retirement. It is so much more. So if you don't have a plan, please sit down with Maggie and get with her and or myself, and we'll help you with that. But one thing that came in front of me about maybe 3 months ago, and we can be transparent, right? I'm not going to ask anybody in this room what's their credit score. But I will tell you, and Dad is going to come and tell you better than anyone can, that it has great bearing on your future. It has not just your future, but your now. Some of us are renting and want to be out of that place, or some of us are buying the cars of our dream at a very high interest rate. And everybody knows someone with less than perfect credit. And I'm going to get out of this field. Let's put our hands together and welcome our brother. What's your regional vice president? Regional sales director. I'm prophesying over you. Let's welcome Mr. Kathy.
Good afternoon, ladies. How you guys doing? Wow, what a great event. First and foremost, I want to thank the organizers, Nicole, Tish, and Andrea. They did an awesome job. Ladies, you guys are awesome. Dee, that's awesome. I live in Henry County right over here, Crystal Lake. You will get my vote and others because that's just how we operate. Okay, if you bear with me 1 second, but here's what I want you to do, ladies. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Imagine a lifestyle where you live where you want to live, you buy what you want to buy, and you drive what you want to drive. You understand the purpose of money. You understand the fact that you've been blessed and you have more to give to others. It's not just for you, it's about distributing funds. You understand that money's meant to be moved and multiplied. Now, you're sitting in your closet and you're looking at all your racks of red bottom shoes, and you're trying to figure out which one am I going to wear today. And while you're sitting in your closet, you're enjoying your fireplace, and you're watching the news, and while everyone's going to work, you're going to call your friends this evening, and you're going to tell them, meet me at Hartsfield International Airport. Don't bring anything. Your 5 closest friends, they show up, and you give them some tickets to Barbados, and you say, it's on me. We're going to have a great time. Because you understand the power of money. And now when you go to church, if someone needs a light bill paid, or a woman needs a light bill paid, you don't say, I'll just pray for you, sister. You say, I'll pray for you, but then you put $500 in my hand and say, bless you, but this comes from the Lord. So you understand the principle of where it all belongs. So with that being said, on the count of, I want you to open your eyes. And on the count of 3, I want you to say, I deserve it. Wait, some of y'all are scared. I feel you, but we're going to do that again. Okay? That's all right. On the count of 3.
You need a phone.
No, yes, please. I want you to say, I deserve it. 1, 2, 3.
I deserve it.
Amen. Praise God. The reason why I had you say that this afternoon is because you remember when we used to dream?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. When we were kids, I don't know about you guys, but I used to dream a lot. I'm going to get the mic in 1 second. I used to dream a lot. And I have a company called the Wealth Society, and I'm a CPA, and I deal with athletes and entertainers on the financial management side. And my clients include everyone from T.I. to Cam Newton and some others. Now, one thing I want to say, in terms of the Wealth Society, athletes and entertainers, when I talk to them about money, they're not interested in the next record, or they already know there's only so many records you can make. They understand that, how do you make my money double? Because wealthy people, we don't believe in breaking even. See, if you break it even, most people think, I'm in business, I can't wait to break even. Well, guess what? If you have that mindset, you will always break even. Okay, I used to own a real estate company, and I'm going to walk through this. This is who I am. I'm Thad Dean. I'm a CPA. I own a business, tax firm called Lazarus, Freeman, and Dean, and we work on the financial management and taxes from our athletes and entertainers. Also, in the former broker owner of Exit Realty Source One, the largest Exit Realty office in Georgia. I closed it in 2008 because I don't believe in losing money. See, in 2008, something happened in the economy. Wealthy people don't care about pride. You know, I called my agents. I've had over 100 agents. And I called them to the office. I said, guess what, guys? This thing's about to change. We need to change some things around us. I'm about to close this office. We have a month. And they were upset, but at the end of the day, that was the right decision because wealthy people see signs and they move on. Okay? And here's the thing. I was rich, but I wasn't wealthy. See, the difference between being rich and wealthy is the difference between having cash flow and being able to sustain it. I'm also the founder and owner of the Wealth Society, and this is a collaboration of, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, what we do, but I have athletes and entertainers, and one thing they understand, say, Dad, how do I make my money double? Because I sold houses to everyone from Juanita Bynum and others, but what I noticed is that they didn't use the house as an investment. See, certain things we could structure, certain tax advantages we could structure as a CPA. I had that knowledge. So that's why I got all the high-end athletes and entertainers. I didn't sell houses. See, I sold investments. A little bit different. Also, I'm a regional sales director for financial education services. We're going to talk about that as well. Now, let's talk about the wealth mission. Our mission is to generate wealth collaboratively amongst our members. Did you know in the Jewish community, a dollar goes through the community 37 times before it leaves? But in our community, it leaves after 8 hours. See, that's a problem. Because, see, we have the means. We spend a lot of money, but the question is, if we had a dollar and started all the way here and went all the way around this room and came back 2 or 3 times, we would have generational wealth. But we work collaboratively to build money within our society. Anybody heard of the Rule of 72? Okay, wealthy people know it because that's what we use. That's a mathematical equation. It tells you how long it takes your money to double. So if you have an investment of $100,000 and the rate of return is 12%, you divide that into 72. That's how long it takes your money to double. Because athletes and entertainers, just normal people, need to understand how long does it take my money to double. Also, keep the Lord first. Anybody here love the Lord? Yes. Now I speak to thousands of people. I'm going to be this Thursday. I will be in Lithonia. This Tuesday, I'll be at the Sheraton Hotel and at the airport. But you know what? One thing I always do, I'm going to put the Lord first no matter who I talk to. I don't care if you're Cam Newton or you're the person sweeping the floors at the school. At the end of the day, if God's number one, you'll never be number 2. You know, and guess what? That brings some people close to me, but also pushes the wrong people away from me. I love that. Okay, let's continue. We promote members' businesses. I love situations like this because, see what? You know what? It's all love in here because at the end of the day, if I have in a society, if someone wants to buy a 550 SL Mercedes-Benz and someone in the society, they sell Mercedes, it's easier for them to go to that person to get that deal done. They don't have to worry about finding that client. Because guess what? It's already in the society. So, if, you know, when we sell houses, that's why I was good at selling houses. I didn't have to go out and go get clients. I had agents that were real estate agents underneath my company. So guess what? They brought me all their clients. I sold. It's called relationship networking. See, we need to understand relationship networking. And then on top of that, we provide members with passive income opportunities. See, at the end of the day, you can't work your way to wealthy. Let me tell you a little secret with you. You can't work your way to wealthy. See, as a real estate agent, I had 100 agents, and they were their commission was a 30% split every time they closed. And I had 100 people that I made 30% off of. At the end of the day, we have to find a way to leverage something. Either you're leveraging something or something's leveraging you. There's no in-between about it. And we have a strong philanthropy outreach program. We give college scholarships. We do free financial seminars. I go into churches. I do this session called Exodus Out of Debt. Because debt is the new slavery. Wake up, people. Debt is the new slavery. It's about the haves and the have-nots. At the end of the day, I tell my athletes and all my members, hey, at the end of the day, you have to understand that you're in combat right now. But how many guys would like your kids to go to school for free? My daughter goes to Spelmanite, okay, for free. I paid for my daughter to go to school. But guess what? I told my kids a long time ago, if the state's not going to send you, why should I? Seriously. Because at the end of the day, but guess what? They never made a C. So some people may say that's harsh, but that's real life. Okay, my son's going to the University of Florida for a full football scholarship. My daughter's going to Florida A&M. But at the end of the day, we have to train our kids to work for something. You know? And let me say this. I've been married 25 years. Lord, praise God. But you know what? One thing we strive to do each and every day, you know what? We got married to the Lord first. I think the Spirit told me I should have said that first. You know, we got married to the Lord first, then each other. You'll catch that later on. But we're going to talk about the wealth lifestyle. When I talk about the wealth society, people think I'm talking about money. But there's a certain thing called spiritual wealth. See, this is what gets my athletes. When I hit them with the spiritual wealth, they're like, "Hey, you mean you're going to go to the club with me?" No, I'm not going to go to the club with you. Because see, when I have an athlete and he's sitting in Alpharetta and he's in his mansion, he has the cars, the houses, the money, the girls, the clothing. He calls me up 2 in the morning and says, "I feel empty inside. I feel like everybody's coming at me." See, these are the deep conversations that nobody else hears. And then I tell him, well, guess what? You don't have a relationship with the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, until you fill that gap. Nothing's going to fulfill you. It's a sad thing to have $100 million in a bank and wondering you're empty inside. That's right. See, that's a sad place. Some people say they want to be wealthy, but see, God is going to prepare only the people that are ready for wealth. Okay? And then we say a certain thing called physical wealth. Now, there's a certain thing that I call physical wealth because at the end of the day, if you have $100 million in your bank account and you're on your deathbed, that means absolutely nothing. And one thing I know in my community, when I see individuals running around at 8 a.m., they're trying to stay fit, they have purpose. Because see, they're not ready to leave. And some of us, I think we've given up. We should all hit the gym every once in a while. Emotional wealth. Anybody heard of Terrell Owens? Yeah. Successful, but emotionally between the ears. You know, we have people that amounts a lot of money. And my wife and I, we built huge businesses, but let me tell you what money will do to you. Money, if you let money come, it will become a wedge. And Satan can use that against your relationship if you're not grounded mentally. Because whether I have $1 or $100,000 in my pocket, I'm the same person. Period. Because when I leave the house each and every morning, I know who left the house. The car doesn't tell me, the clothes don't tell me, the money in my pocket don't tell me. I know who I am. But see, a lot of people, it's a thing called emotional wealth, but then of course financial wealth. Now let's talk about financial freedom. Anybody want financial freedom? Because see, at the end of the day, money buys financial freedom. It's not about the dollars and the numbers in the bank account, it's about financial freedom. But when you achieve financial freedom, your lifestyle comes from a self-determined lifestyle, from a predetermined lifestyle to a self-determined lifestyle. Let's elaborate on that. A predetermined lifestyle. Anybody work a job? I used to work a job. I used to work at Coca-Cola. I thought I had the best job in the world. I was in a corporate real estate group. Did the Royal Coke and the Georgia Aquarium. But I wasn't satisfied because I knew one thing. Corporate America was going to just give me enough money to keep me coming back every Monday morning. See, I'm a CPA, I'm a numbers guy. I know exactly what it takes for me to leave a job. Anybody know what that number is? But at the end of the day, I had to have a plan B. A self-determined lifestyle, wealthy people understand this each and every day of their lives. Because every day a wealthy person wakes up, they determine, what do I want my lifestyle to look like today? Who do I want to help today? Who do I want to bless every day? And we have to strive to work to get there. Now, when you become responsible for your life, your goals, that's when you're truly happiness. And I love this. In order to become wealthy, you have to make sure your happiness. It's not about the money. It's about your happiness. Because see, you can have a lot of money and be unhappy. See, at the end of the day, money buys tools to make you happy and make other people happy. I love this. Happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are all in harmony. So a lot of people in Atlanta, we look good, we smell good, we drive good, we eat good. But guess what? That's not who we are in the core. I sold a lot of houses, and you know, I never forget, 8-bedroom houses. You walk in there and there's no furniture in it, but they got the facade. See, at the end of the day, we got to be comfortable who we are. And I love this. Money can't buy happiness, but neither can poverty. I've been rich, I've been poor, but being rich is a lot better. Praise God, right? And I ain't ashamed of it. Because guess what? It's all about what you do with it. Money's not meant for you. It's meant to distribute and give to other people. That's right. That's what Bill Gates understood real early. So let's talk about our profile. Our members, we want our members to have an average net worth of $1.5 million. Okay? On average. Not everybody has that. Some people are trying to get there and they're working with us. It's not about the numbers, it's about the mindset. I have athletes that make $10 million a year don't have $1.5 billion in net worth. Because guess what? They buy everything they see. Okay? You have to have passive income of $10,000 per month. Anybody want passive income of $10,000 per month? So that's income you don't work for. I love that. Because guess what? When you own a business, if you don't have, that's just like having a passive income. Because I have over 200 agents right now from Los Angeles to Puerto Rico. Whether if someone buys something or not, I get paid. See, money, you should not chase money. Money should chase you. It's a different mindset. Okay? And everyone has a credit score of 750. Why? Not to buy another house, car. Guess what? Let me tell you what we did. My lender from the Wealth Society, he said, if you guys have 4 people on your team who have, he's part of the Wealth Society, who have a credit score of 750 and $1.5 million, we'll give you a signature loan for $250,000. Just come to my bank and sign it. What we did, 4 of us, we put together an LLC, and we bought a house in Destin, Florida for $600,000 cash money. Now, did we go live in it? Absolutely not. We rented it out because if it rented out for 12 weeks, it covers the cost. The first week we put it on the internet, it leased out for 62 weeks. Guys, that thing's going to pay for itself. We're trying to buy everything off the block now. Because see, at the end of the day, that's the kind of investments that you want to have in your life. And you want to build for your, because the Bible says a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. That's right. Ooh, children. That's why I get my apples. Not just your children, but your other kids' kids. Okay? And then everyone must have a will, a trust, and a power of attorney. Anybody heard of Prince? Can you believe that Prince did not have a will? That makes me sick every time I say it. Because at the end of the day, guess what? You know who's going to determine 60 or 70% of his assets is going to go to the state of Minnesota. A judge is going to sit up there and determine where his money goes. Okay? And leverage is a key central principle of building wealth. Nobody achieves financial freedom without the power of leverage. Either you're being leveraged or someone's leveraging you. Either someone's leveraging you or you're leveraging something. There's no in between. And members include pretty much everyone. Doctors, lawyers, CPAs, business owners. Now, how are we going to get there? Now, let me talk about America and financial education services, what we do. Did you know 43 million people have a 599 credit score or less? 8 out of 10 people in this room has a less than perfect credit. I don't have to ask you your credit score. Nearly half of Americans don't even know their credit score. The average American has $225,000 worth of debt and less than $500 in savings. That should be switched around. We should have $500 in debt and $225,000 in savings. 49% have no retirement. Some people think they're going to work till they die. Not me. I'm about to turn this. I got 5 years and I'm done. Okay? But 65% have no will. 82% have no trust. I have average that make millions and millions of dollars. Trust is not about passing property over. It's about the inheritance tax. It's about protecting your investments, your home, your house. Did you know, ladies, if you're a single mom and you don't have a will and something, Lord forbid, something happens to you, that they can come in, your grandma can't just show up and take your kids. They go to DFACS. Unless you have a will and say who's supposed to be designated to take your children. See, that's how real it gets. And 71% don't even have a power of attorney. $58 billion of unclaimed life insurance policies. When my grandmother died, I never forget, we went down, I'm from Key West, Florida. We went down to Key West, she had tons of property. And you know, back in the day, Grandma used to pay the guy who showed up in a car every week. Y'all remember the guy? You know, I act like y'all don't know who that guy is. And then at the end of the day, Grandma would put that policy underneath the bed. Well, guess what? When she died, we couldn't even read the policy. We didn't even know where to send it in. And then every 2 seconds, your identity is stolen. Why are we in this position? Because of lack of financial education. See, a fool and his money will not last long. See, you never hear, and I challenge my NBA players and others, so you never hear one owner say we pay athletes too much money. You know why? Because if they're paying Cam Newton $100 million, the owners make it $200 million. See, it's a business decision. But guess what? We were never taught. Anyone was ever taught how to build wealth? No. Sure? Well, how are we going to know? Because at the end of the day, what we do, we provide the education a long time ago. We provide the solutions to protect your income, your finances, your future, and your lifestyle, and a lucrative and promising career opportunity. Who are we? We were founded in 2004, and this This is just one of my services that I provide. You'll be surprised the number of athletes that are already in this program. Because guess what? If you're buying a Bentley, they don't care if you're whoever you are. If your credit score is a 599, they're going to give you a 19% as if you bought that Bentley or you're going to buy that Corolla. It don't make a difference. Now, we were founded in 2004, over 12 years ago. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau from our customers, and we're totally debt-free because you can't teach someone how to get out of debt unless you're out of debt. Now, think about it. Anybody know anybody who have less than perfect credit? I know a lot of people. Had debt, don't know how to pay it off, don't have life insurance, need an annual vacation. Let me stop right here. Did you know, I do marriage seminars. Did you know that there's a statistic out there that said that married couples took more vacations, the divorce rate will go down? Because sometimes we're so busy running the rat race. Because we know when you go on vacation, you ain't worried about what the menu, how much it costs. Because you can't prepare to do that. But at the end of the day, a lot of people just need to make additional income and need a plan of action. Flagship program is credit restoration. Today, your credit is like your vital sign. I'm sitting there talking to you, somebody's checking out credit score. It impacts how. Did you know it impacts your insurance rates? When I was on the cover of Broker Agent magazine, my insurance rates were low, but when my credit score went down, because I was a real estate investor. And you know, you're paying 6 mortgages and you do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. That's what real estate brokers do. We don't let them foreclose. That's a nice way to say, take my property, I don't want it anymore. But guess what impacted my credit report? And my insurance went up $2,000 a year as a result of that. And you could be denied the ability to rent, purchase, or even get employment. Now, did you know, in the course of your lifetime, a less than perfect rating, credit rating costs you over $200,000 or $1 million. Because at the end of the day, you're going to pay somebody. At the end of the day, either you're going to get your credit restored or you're going to pay the creditors. Okay? And 4 out of 5 credit reports have errors on them. I'm going to prove that to you. Y'all ready for this? Here's my question. How can a man run for president? And I'm not endorsing anyone. But how can a man run for president of the United States and have 5 bankruptcies? Somebody can tell me that? How can a man run for president of the United States of America and have 5 documented bankruptcies? Anybody ever thought about that? You know why? Because they don't show up on his credit report. Only poor people deal with less than perfect credit. See, someone like a Donald Trump, I used to study Donald Trump. I mean, if you're a real estate, you read his books. He bragged about letting properties go into foreclosure. But, you know, I have a friend that works for the CIA. You can't work for the CIA with less than perfect credit because if Russia says you're a document and they tell you send us over, they'll give you $1 million, you're called the credit risk, a finance risk, because you may be inclined to do that. You cannot have less than perfect credit to run this country. But it does not show up. Okay, I want to talk about some myths about our credit report. Did you know there's 5 myths? Credit agencies, myth number 1, credit agencies are required by law to keep derogatory items on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. Anybody ever heard that? Yeah. Actually, there's no law at all that states that. We use the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Did y'all know what that law? Anybody know what the Fair Credit Reporting Act even exists? Yeah. Okay, it protects consumers. It was done by Congress in 1971. It says that by law they have to take it off your credit report 7 to 10 years. But guess what? If you don't request it and be proactive, they're not going to say, well, bad is nice, so therefore it's 7 years, we're going to take it off today. So absolutely not. You have to go out there and get that thing yourself. Myth number 2 is impossible to get a bankruptcy off. I've heard that. Anybody heard that? Absolutely. My athletes and entertainers, they have bankruptcies on. Some of them, quite a few. Bankruptcies come off just like anything else because of the fact that it has to be reported properly under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The Fair Credit Reporting Act has over 320 different laws that a creditor has to use to put something on your credit report. Let me explain what one of them is. Y'all ready for this? Did you know in order for someone to put something on your credit report, they have to call you or send a letter to you saying, Mr. Dean, you missed 4 payments. Therefore, we're about to put this on your credit report on this particular date. Has anyone ever received a call like that? No. Absolutely not. Did y'all know that Bank of America was robo-signing foreclosures? Yes. They got sued for it. The federal government hit them. Did you know that there's millions of people walking around here with Bank of America foreclosures? And now all of a sudden, they are being penalized, but guess what? They didn't know. Okay, I'm going to move very quickly. Myth number 3, information in credit report cannot be changed. It's absolutely true because the Fair Credit Reporting Act requires that things have to be 100% accurate. Not 99, not 92. My full name is Thaddeus T.D. Jr. That's what's on my Social Security card. It's up to the creditor to verify that information. I'm a real estate broker, CPA. We give all those documents to them. If they put it in wrong, that's not my fault. That's their fault. And it happens each and every day. And paying the past due debt, reducing from your credit report, not. If you pay up, let me tell you this, if you pay a past due debt, it may be good going forward. What about those 5 years previous? You need those things removed. Okay, and I want to continue to move through this. We give every client their own website.
So that's what I love about this company. My athletes and entertainers, I don't restore credit. They go to their website, they can go take a look at it, they get an idea of how the process works, they get the idea of what's on their credit report. I can pull my credit report right now, I get my credit score. So right here, the person has a 544 credit score, they get access to the attorney, you get your credit reports. Don't you think, I love to see that. You get Experian, Transfer, and Equifax, you get to see what's on your credit reports, what's been deleted, and you get a summary. As an example, you have 19 accounts, 15 have been deleted, 4 has been, is still remaining in dispute. We also have Positive Credit Builder. I have lenders on my team, and 8 out of 10 people they talk to, they have to put them in this program. In 90 to 120 days, they become a client. One more thing I want to roll through, and we've helped over 875,000 people restore their credit, and we've moved over 100,000 public records, and we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Who does that? 100% guaranteed. When my athletes, when they come to me, 100% guaranteed, I'm like, listen, sign me up, because at the end of the day, we're going to get it right. I went through some of the documentation. I'm pressed for time, so I'm going to continue to move forward through some of these. These are just some of the items that have been removed. Most people will pay $5,000. My athletes, they'll pay $5,000 to someone they met and hoping that it comes off their credit report. We charge nothing close to that. We charge $499, and we have monthly options. We have $87 per month, and we will provide you a will, a trust, a power of attorney, and everything for $87 per month. And we give you credit monitoring, Positive Credit Builder. Credit monitoring and Positive Credit Builder. See, before you go out and buy that car, isn't it good to know if your rate is a 780 that your interest rate on that car loan should be about 1.2% before you go to buy the car? See, that's good information. Because guess what? The guy who's selling you a car, he's trying to get you the highest interest rate because he wants to put you aboard debt. Now here's a game changer. Y'all ready for this? LifeLock partnered up with us a year ago. This is called the sign. LifeLock does not partner up with just anybody. They're in business to protect someone's identity. Once they partnered up with us, it was all over. Because they say, you know what, you guys are able to take people from the 500s to the 750s in less than 120 days. We want to partner up with you guys. And how much time do I have? And we're going to talk. We also have Debt Zero, an interactive project to get you out of debt. My athletes love this because they put your debts in. It tells you who wants to be totally out of debt. Absolutely. Well, see, this is an interactive program. Takes your bills and does it for you. We also do a will, a trust, and a power of attorney prepared by attorneys, no additional fees. You can add them on. You can make changes. So when my son acts a fool, I pull him off the will, and he gives it back together. He goes back on because it doesn't cost me anything. But with that, I'm going to wrap this thing up. But ladies, let me tell you this. You remember that? Remember I had you close your eyes and you thought about your lifestyle? How many of you like that? You know there's a young lady named Nicole Smith Jackson. The next time we do this, I'm going to have her come out here. Nicola does $1 million a month in this business. Okay, but she's one of the finest ladies you ever meet. Because you know what? There's a place that she goes to. She could go to a bank. She could go to a grocery store. Every time she goes somewhere, someone gets blessed. If you know what I mean. That's a life of purpose. See, money's not for us. It's meant to bless other people. I want to thank you for your attention. And if you want to see me, I'll be around later on. But thank you. You guys have a good evening.